travel and how we look at how much more it is to learn beyond America and American culture.
Absolutely. You know, one of the things that I think about quite a bit is the ability to finance our freedom. And here in this country, there may not be many opportunities to do that. And a lot of that has to do with being in a capitalistic model, in a society where the value of objects are more important than the value of our relationships with one another. And not having an environment that's sustainable and is able to actually promote that type of perspective on life. And I think having those type of opportunities to go to places outside of this country gives you an opportunity to be exposed to those different perspectives that you're not really going to learn about in this educational system, you know, through the media or any of that.
Also being able to see people do less with more, it'll make us think about how much loose income that we're giving away to corner nationalities and people who have shops all around us, and how much we're just giving away, and that same amount of money can be used with a 5, 6, 7 times more value and actually building structure, infrastructure, business, even business for ourselves. So, but that can only take place when we are allowed to see that model and that land, that place that you were talking about, Tanzania. You know, that president Julius Nyerere and Walimu, the teacher. That is where the Ujima concept, that is where that whole process comes, where the community is caring, sharing, and sharing resources. So that idea that we have with Kwanzaa of cooperative economics, that philosophy is the lifestyle that was put together and implemented with that president. So the whole thinking is different. The whole cultural approach to security and social security is different. So
yeah, you know what? Our people here, the cost for a designer belt, you can take that same money and provide health insurance for about 10 children for an entire year in Tanzania. Or you can pay for water for an entire primary school for an entire year for the same amount that a person would spend on a designer belt here in America.
And I remember in many of the schools here, I don't know if it has changed yet, but it was actually, you know, we were told not to drink the water out of the water fountains right here in the city of Buffalo. So this whole idea about being able to have basic things like water, health care, we have the ability to leverage that power, and that was what we've been talking about on this radio show for the last few weeks. How much leverage, how much power do we have as individuals, but as a collective, it's exponential.
Absolutely.
You know, we just have to practice that together.
Absolutely.
So how can people get in contact with you? How can people? I had a chance to watch educational videos that you have put out. You have so many talents. You got your hands in a lot of educational things. But how can people reach you and get a chance to see some of the things that you're doing and what you're about?
I would say the central location is if they just go to Google and put in either Saladin Allah or the Atlantis School for Gifted Youngsters, they'll be able to find me on social media as well as on my website. And one of the things that's also important is that when people research me, there's always going to be empirical data or something that supports what it is that I do. And that's because a lot of times nowadays you have people who want to be influencers or people who just sit and talk, but there's no real evidence to support what they're actually doing in their community. And that's very, very important to me, because people, you know, they may be inspired and encouraged to want to be a part of the things that you're doing. So you need to have evidence to support, to show people like, this is literally what I do, this is literally how I live.
And